Just as Mr. M was contemplating a walk in the mountains, a 14 or 15-year-old boy arrived at his doorstep. "Grandpa M, my grandpa is looking for you," the boy exclaimed. The boy, Tristan D, was Taylor D's eldest grandson. Mr. M put down the hatchet in his hand and asked, "What's going on?" Tristan D quickly approached him and explained, "There are refugees from outside the village seeking shelter here." "Refugees? Where are they from?" Mr. M asked, surprised. It was the autumn harvest season, a time of abundance for ordinary people. Fleeing at this time suggested they were escaping a man-made disaster. "They're from a nearby village," Tristan D explained. "Bandits attacked them the night before last, burning down the whole village. Hundreds died, and only a dozen or so escaped. Now they've all come to our D-Clan village." Mr. M's expression turned solemn. He had seen a notice about banditry in the county yesterday, but he hadn't expected to encounter refugees from the same incident today. Nearby village was just north of the D-Clan village, about 10 miles away. As winter approached, the villagers of nearby village, having barely escaped the bandits, now faced a daunting challenge: survival without food, shelter, or protection from the cold. Among the surrounding villages, the D-Clan village stood out as the most powerful, making it a reasonable choice for nearby villagers to seek refuge. "Let's take a look," Mr. M agreed, walking out of the village with Tristan D. As the elder of the D-Clan, Mr. M was often accompanied by Taylor D, who valued his opinion and insight. Taylor D's thoughts were straightforward. As an elderly man, he knew his time was limited. When he passed away, Mr. M would be the only warrior left in the D-Clan, and the clan's future would rely on him. The D-Clan had experienced sheltering refugees, having taken in several households with different surnames in the past. Taking in a few more refugee families wouldn't be difficult for them. While D-Clan offered shelter, it wasn't charity. All expenses would be loaned to the refugees, with the expectation of repayment in the future. "The problem is those three kids," Mr. M said, following Taylor D's gaze. He saw a boy and girl, both around 10 years old, standing together. The girl cradled a crying baby in her arms. Taylor D's expression turned sympathetic as he explained, "The boy's name is Thomas Lynn, the girl is Big Teeth, and the 3-month-old baby in her arms is her younger brother. Their families were killed by bandits. Thomas Lynn is quite handsome, and Linda is about the same age," Taylor D suddenly said, changing the subject. Mr. M was taken aback. "What does this have to do with Linda?" he asked, but as soon as the words left his lips, he understood Taylor D's implication. Thomas Lynn was around 10 years old, and Linda was about the same age. Although they were still too young for marriage, it wouldn't be long before they reached that stage. Was Taylor D suggesting finding a son-in-law? Mr. D considered the idea and decided it was unnecessary. With their current prosperity and promising future, he was confident he could find Linda a suitable husband. There was no need to settle for a son-in-law, a position that carried too much risk of creating an enemy if not managed carefully. "Forget about recruiting a son-in-law. Let them come and take a look. If they're suitable, I'll accept 2 apprentices," Mr. D said casually. Taylor D was taken aback by Mr. D's willingness to take on disciples. "If you're going to accept disciples, it would be better to choose from within our clan." Mr. D's expression froze. He had completely forgotten about this consideration. Naturally, accepting a disciple from the clan would be more appropriate, but Mr. D hadn't intended to take on disciples. However, now that he'd made the offer, it seemed inappropriate to retract it. "No need to formally accept clan disciples. Just select a few outstanding youngsters and send them my way. Choose 3 around 15 years old," Mr. D proposed a compromise. Taylor D smiled, stroking his long beard. "Excellent!" It was a good thing Mr. D was willing to help train the clan's younger generations. Mr. D instructed the 3 children, "Follow me." Thomas Lynn trailed closely behind Mr. D without a word. Big Teeth was hesitant, but when she saw Thomas Lynn leaving, she hurriedly followed, cradling her brother in her arms. Mr. D walked home with his hands behind his back, saying nothing. Thomas Lynn followed closely, his bright eyes shining with anticipation. Though he hadn't heard Mr. D's conversation with Taylor D, Thomas Lynn knew he needed someone to rely on, and the elder in front of him might be his future support. In contrast, Big Teeth was much more timid, keeping her head down and following quietly. Though Mr. D didn't say a word, he observed the 2 children closely. Thomas Lynn clearly had a mind of his own, while Big Teeth's cowardice didn't bother Mr. D. After all, she was just a traumatized 10-year-old who'd lost her family. How old is the baby? Mr. D gently asked Big Teeth. Lowering her head, Big Teeth softly replied, 3 months. Mr. D nodded and instructed Wendy, who was bursting with curiosity. Wendy, please take care of the baby. At 3 months old, the baby was the same age as the eldest granddaughter, Usha D. Wendy was the only one in the family who could provide for the baby's needs. Wendy gently took the child from Big Teeth's arms, and Big Teeth hugged her brother tightly, saying, "This is my brother." She was clearly confused and scared. Wendy reassured her, "He's hungry," and Big Teeth hesitated for a moment before letting go. Wendy took the child back to the house, and soon the crying stopped. Mr. D asked about Thomas Lynn and Big Teeth's situation. Both 9-year-olds had encountered bandits, resulting in their family members' deaths while trying to protect them. Thomas Lynn, despite being nervous, spoke logically and was the more outspoken of the two. Mr. D asked him, "Have you received an education?" Thomas Lynn replied, "My father taught me." Talking about his father made Thomas Lynn a bit downcast. "From now on, call me master. My D clan has a martial arts tradition. You should learn martial arts first, and we can discuss studying later." For Mr. D, studying and practicing martial arts weren't mutually exclusive. Whether or not to support Thomas Lynn's studies depended on his character. If Thomas Lynn proved grateful, Mr. D wouldn't mind backing his education. Disciple kowtows to master. Thomas Lynn was indeed smart. He kowtowed and became Mr. D's disciple without hesitation. In contrast, Big Teeth was slower to react. After Thomas Lynn finished kowtowing, she followed suit, saying, "Disciple kowtows to master. Rise!" Mr. D nodded, satisfied, and turned to Mr. First D, saying, "Clean up your third brother's room for Thomas Lynn. Linda, Big Teeth will be staying with you from now on." When Mr. D made his decision, the family members didn't dare oppose him, and Mr. First D and Linda immediately agreed. At noon, with 2 extra mouths to feed, Wendy whipped up an additional dish. As they sat down to eat, Thomas Lynn was his usual obedient self, but Big Teeth seemed a bit reserved and nervous. Luckily, Linda's kind nature kicked in, and she comforted Big Teeth, helping them both relax after the meal. Just as they finished lunch, Taylor D arrived with 3 teenagers, his grandson Tristan D, and 2 promising young clan members, Herman D and Victor D. They brought gifts like tea, cloth, and maltose, thoughtful gestures valued in the D clan. Mr. M graciously accepted their gifts and agreed to meet with them daily at 7 a.m. for an hour-long lesson. As younger generations of the family, they already had some foundation, so Mr. M could skip the basics and focus on sharing his expertise and pointing out areas for improvement. Before long, half a month had passed, and the weather grew colder, but the D family's atmosphere became increasingly lively. Every morning, 7 or 8 figures gathered in the D family courtyard to practice martial arts, with Mr. M among them. Following his principle of not wasting time, Mr. M simultaneously guided Mr. First D and Mr. Second D in their training. Just then, nearby, Linda suddenly cried out, "Dad!" Mr. M sensed urgency in her voice and stopped mid-explanation, turning to face her. Linda's face was pale, and she trembled as she pointed westward. As Mr. M gazed westward, his brow furrowed in concern. The clear sky revealed mountains and forests, but a large plume of smoke billowed in front of the mountains, with faint flickering flames visible beneath. The location of the flames was unmistakable, Kane Clan Village. "Dad, something's happening in Kane Clan Village. My sister." Mr. First D exclaimed, worry etched on his face. Mr. M took a deep breath and instructed, "Inform the clan leader. You guys wait for further instructions. I'll scout ahead." Without hesitation, he strapped on his backpack, sewn by Wendy, which held 10 short spears over a meter long, and sprinted towards Kane Clan Village. Mr. First D and Mr. Second D tried to stop him, but Mr. M vanished into the distance at incredible speed. With no other choice, Mr. First D rushed to find Taylor D. As it turned out, there was no need for the search, since Taylor D had already gathered a few people at the west end of the D Clan Village. The Kane Clan Village, just 6 or 7 miles away from the D Clan Village, was shrouded in thick smoke that billowed into the sky, visible from a distance. Thick smoke shrouded Kane Clan Village, making everything hazy, but Mr. M spotted multiple figures and heard shouts and screams. "It's really the bandits," he muttered, his face darkening. Mr. M's thoughts turned to his eldest daughter, Linlin. Despite having met her only twice, he wore the cotton-padded clothes she had sewn for him, a symbol of their bond. Mr. M's priority was saving his daughter, and he wouldn't let anyone or anything get in his way. With a short spear in hand, he approached Kane Clan village, which was in complete chaos. Dozens of brutal men were on a killing spree, leaving bodies scattered throughout the village. Despite the chaos, some villagers fought back. Although Kane Clan lacked the martial arts heritage like D Clan, its hunters were skilled with bows and arrows. If the bandits hadn't caught them off guard, they might have been able to defend their homes. As Mr. M entered the village, he spotted a tall, strong figure in the wasteland behind the village. The man was laughing maniacally, shouting, "Brothers, kill them! Ha ha ha!" while wielding a massive knife. A scar on his face twisted like a snake when he laughed, making him look extremely cruel. It was Scar, a notorious bandit with a bounty on his head. Mr. M recalled the wanted poster he had seen in the county, which offered a reward for Scar's capture, but revealed little about his true identity. According to the bounty order, Scar was a notoriously vicious mountain bandit who had repeatedly descended upon villages, massacring them, and had managed to escape government sieges multiple times, earning him a hefty reward of 300 taels of silver. Mr. M wasn't motivated by the reward, so when he spotted Scar, he carefully avoided him and sneaked into the village, making his way to Harry Kane's house on the west side, where the atmosphere was eerily quiet. As he approached the door, Mr. M knocked vigorously, calling out, "Hello, is anyone there?" "It's me, MD," he announced. The wooden door creaked open, and Harry Kane looked at Mr. M in surprise, exclaiming, "Father-in-law!" Mr. M stepped inside and asked, "Is everyone all right?" "Fortunately, they haven't come yet," Harry Kane replied quickly. The yard was filled with over a dozen young, strong men from the neighboring families who had sought refuge there. Mr. M asked again, "Where's Linda?" "She's inside." Harry Kane led him into the main house. The room was packed with women and children, and Linda sat on the bed, pale-faced. "Dad!" Linda threw herself into Mr. M's arms, frightened. It's okay, Dad's here." Mr. M comforted her, patting her back. Before he could say more, a low voice from the yard warned, "The bandits are coming. You stay here first, Dad will be back soon." Mr. M said hastily, not even taking the time to comfort Linda, and quickly walked out of the main house. The young men in the courtyard had already taken positions on the walls and roofs, ready for battle, but despite their bravery, fear crept in as they faced the ruthless bandits.